I'm live. I'm live. Speed, speed, speed. Speed. No, it's not speed though. It's all about rapid. If it's YouTube, it's rapid, right? All right, we're gonna play rapid. I should be back today though. I should be back later today. Twitch. I'm everywhere now. I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere. All right, so we're gonna play rapid. Hopefully, we could find opponents. Let's give it a go. Opponents. All right, we found somebody. 2 months ago. I cannot play somebody who like couple of years. I mean, you know, maybe 1 year. 1 year, maybe. Yeah, it's the same guy. All right, we may just block him anyway, just so you don't get to play him. Block. If he's good, we would know later. But, you know, 2 months ago is not enough. We'll try somebody else. Somebody else. Somebody else. So we're gonna play rapid, explain the move as I go along. That leads to me losing on time, of course. But, you know, we're just explaining the moves. We're having fun, right? Explanation, learning experience, all of the above. Learning experience. But first of all, we need to have a game, right? Without a game, we cannot really explain anything. I'm working on my stats, right? I've been saying this for the past 20 years. But I'm working all my stats, bullet, blitz, you know, so things are going like this. Sooner or later. 2 years. All right, finally. We could trust this guy. All right, we could play a6. I would not tell people to play a6 unless you know what you're doing. b5 is actually the idea. So I tried to play bishop b7. It's some kind of like Polish, Lord knows what is this actually. Like Polish a6 b5, Polish with a black side, some kind of in-win defense that went bad. In-win defense is like e4, b6, right? It's not b5. So bishop b7 here, if I could say it correctly. So f5. You could actually go for g6, which is funny. d6, g6. We could go for d6, some kind of g6, bishop g7, knight d7 kind of structure. But yes, you could go for this kind of attack. There's also knight f6. We could go for knight f6 attacking here. So maybe knight d2, not knight c3. That's actually one of the key things about b5. If you play knight c3, assuming that naturally playing, like developing a piece, but you get hit by b4, right? And once you get hit by b4, he moves his knight, then e4 would be hanging. But knight d2 is actually a much better move, so the pawn would really not attack the knight on d2. I mean, I would love to go here, but the queen is on the way. The queen is on the way. And the h5 is a really ambitious move. The idea of knight g4, h3. We could just play simple chess, you know, e6 and c5. We could just make it simple, c5. So c5, maybe bishop e7. I guess if he plays here, which is funny, you may actually claim knight g4, but bishop g1 is actually the move, right? He's playing h3. He's really concerned about knight g4, I could tell. Like maybe he wants to play knight f3, so he doesn't want to like deal with knight g4. The point of knight g4, I mean, you know, the queen is still on g4, right? Could take on g4. But the point of if I play h5, knight g4, defending the knight on g4, it's actually bishop e3. It's not well placed bishop. And if I'm able to take it, That would be like bishop pair early on. Like bishop pair early on versus like a bishop and knight. So c5 maybe just play with a, you know, like maybe knight c6. It becomes like a natural game. You could also play knight d7, but maybe knight c6 is more interesting. He's just keeping an eye on the center. So knight f3. That's fine. Bishop e7. Both sides are developed. Maybe now you could castle. I could castle. I mean, I really have to watch out for like e5 kind of stuff. Maybe it's knight d5. Again, this bishop is still... So if e5 right now, knight d5, we might be able to take on e3. If he goes bishop f2, knight takes f4. So that's one of the drawbacks. I could still castle. Same idea still happening here. Knight d5. He may do like queen c2 kind of stuff. So maybe he wants to play e5 and take on h7. So that's an idea. Rook c1. I could also consider this, but what's the point? Lock it down. Why I want to lock it down? Maybe here and knight b4, bishop b1. I'm not reaching anything here. Bishop b1 is defending e4. I mean, takes, knight b4, bishop e2 is like an idea, so I could take on e4. The bishop is still on e4. I could still take the pawn at e4, but he just doesn't allow it. He just goes here defending e4. So we don't achieve anything by taking per se. Maybe rook c8. Rook c8. So maybe I could play here knight b4, bishop b1, rook takes c1. Maybe some kind of idea like this. Maybe even queen e8. You know, keep attacking on e4 as much as possible. Just to try to get into play here so I could play the knight on d5. So the knight would probably be a better square on d5. So he played bishop b1, which I think is funny though. He sees this potential takes knight b4. It's actually clever. Clever move. Clever move. Alright, we're still gonna take pawn takes. And then I could play knight e5. Trying to go here. Here. Queen takes? Who knows? Queen takes, queen e8. Dream situation. Dream situation here. b3. That's an actually interesting move. b3 stopping knight c4. I want to play here and queen e8, but this queen c7, I may still be able to do it. Oh, queen c7, the knight is attacked, and the bishop. So I may have to play like bishop d2, but d6 is hanging. I could still take on e4. So it's still here. This maybe knight c6, and the queen might be a little bit trappy. So the point of queen e8 is keeping pressure on e4. So should he go for this, I have knight d5 again. So we're back to the original plan. If he goes for this, attack both pieces, or knight on e5 and here, there's knight c6 or bishop d8. Bishop d8, attack the queen, defend e5, he takes on d6, we take on e4. Who is just gonna do it? This actually, queen e8 is like forcing things now. You may have to think about this, like would you play here or would you play here? Decision is yours. You decide. But this idea is you attack on e4. So it's like knight takes here, bishop takes, queen takes. That's a free pawn. And then the bishop will be attacked. Should my queen land on e4? He played e5, and that's, I don't know. We play knight d5. This is actually the original plan. So the problem is he goes here, knight takes, but there's actually more of a worry here because the bishop is actually, there's an open diagonal. He may try like queen c2 stuff, some mating ideas, but just g6. So we play here. We are actually attacking the bishop right now. I don't know if I like what he's doing. I felt like it's queen c7 was the move. Wow, what is this? This actually feels like a blunder to me. Knight takes. No, queen takes. It just feels like it's blunder somehow. I think it's rook c8 is queen e1, queen d2. There's also knight takes f4. The idea is here bishop takes, e6 is hanging. Okay, we're gonna take here. Knight takes. Pawn takes. So I'm trying to play bishop b4. So the pawn takes is actually kind of a neat idea because the bishop now has more scope, right? Like bishop b4, bishop, stopping this square. So it's like open diagonal. So he took this way. I know why he did that, because knight takes f4 was actually an idea. So now I could play like a couple moves, bishop b4. I just need to be careful about this diagonal, because maybe it's actually a big concern. So maybe if I play here rook c8, I'm trying to take this way. Here bishop d2. Alright, we're gonna try this. I'm assuming it's here, but what happens after bishop b4? Bishop d2? This move I don't like. This gains a tempo. He's attacking the knight, but I could actually play here, like attacking his queen. He could still play queen e2, but he just let my bishop sit on b4 for no reason. So that's actually the reason why I don't like it. Alright, so this feels iffy though, like he wants to play here somehow. So knight f4, take bishop here. What to do? Alright, we're gonna take h6. Two bishop pair, but I don't think it's enough. We have the two bishops. You have to be careful with things like this. I mean, maybe I blundered. So you take, you get smoked over here. He's gonna give it a try, knight f6. The problem is actually queen d3. So if I play king h8, queen d3, you're looking at mate. It's actually, yeah, I underestimated this position completely. Maybe here, like not some kind of knight f4 takes, queen takes. That would be, but the knight was hanging on a5, so maybe it's before that. Like knight f4 here. So takes. And we're still attacking f4 with the queen. So this may be a better line for black. Because now I just feel like I'm in trouble. Knight f6. He may try queen d3 first. And knight f6. So he's between these two moves. But I think queen d3 is not the best move, because I could actually trade. So now I could trade and then I'm no longer in trouble. The attack is vanished. So in order to continue attacking, it's here. This, I cannot really take. This actually feels like it's almost mate. With the help of the bishop on b1. What else is he thinking about? Like, it has to be here. Indeed, here queen d3, g6, it's trouble. It's trouble now. I mean, I have the diagonal, but he also have a big diagonal. I mean, it's only gonna be white. Bishop now is not doing anything. Maybe I have to go back. I mean, defending. Checkmate. G6. So maybe I have things like this. Rook d3. Maybe I still have some play, but... I have to be careful. This maybe like once you land here is queen d2. You're looking at some kind of mate on h6. I mean, maybe like this is tough. There's also, I may go back here if I have to, but yeah, this is actually a big issue. Here, he wants to take on g6. Takes, rook c3. Queen d2, and then I could take. This is not the game that I... Hey, how's it going? Tricky, tricky. Yeah, it is tricky. Tricky indeed. Yeah, I should never allow this in the first place. Yeah. There was an easier way to deal with this, but... Easier way to deal with this. He's probably considering knight takes. I actually feel like knight e8 is winning. Something like here. Okay, so he took on g6. Did I miss this move? Knight h5. Yeah. We could even do knight e7. I cannot take. This queen check here. You're getting mated. Knight e7 here. This feels like it's nightmares. King f8. You have got to believe this is actually winning somehow for white. I mean, I have like a lot of pieces near my king, so it's too much. I don't have time for bishop e4. He could actually slow playing it too, like queen d2, and go for queen h6. It's too much of an attack here. I mean, maybe it's queen d2. There's some nasty stuff maybe here, like rook here, queen takes, rook takes g6. That's not. This is actually losing. It's still losing for me. I mean, a move like this wins. Knight e7 wins. Here, bishop e4. Still queen takes. It's tough. You cannot defend here, the rook gets in. It's like too much. Queen d2. It's a sad story, but maybe here, this is another move that I could consider. Queen takes. It doesn't even save me. Takes, bishop takes g2, king e1. So rook f3 was a move. So the idea is you cannot take the bishop. The bishop is attacking the queen. Here takes, and still knight f6. I'm gonna give it a try now. I still believe it's losing for me. It's losing. I mean, there's knight f6 at the end of the line. Yeah. That's not good. That's not good. That's his one check. That's it. One check, and it's that's it. Yeah, that's losing. That's. I actually had a way of defending this. So around here. Checking with the computer. Yeah, so I was okay. So queen e1, and then you could play knight takes e3. I mean, I was looking at knight f4, but knight takes, what the point of knight takes here? And then bishop takes e4, that's one line. Queen e7. I don't know if I like this. But at least it's not losing. I mean, white is slightly better, but it's not losing. All right. He wanted the rematch, but I was going through the game. It's 24 hours? Oh, 4 years. 4 years. Okay. E4. Knight f3, d5. You always want to play centralized. White bishop takes pawn. Yeah, it's probably losing all across. c5. And then I play like b4. So b4 is wing gambit. This is a wing gambit opening that I've been trying. So takes. This line is kind of tricky, but because if you land on d6, that's things can be fun. Can be fun. Okay, knight d6. There's always like f6 ideas. This is hanging down. Takes. Bishop d7, knight b5. What am I missing here? You had to play like a6. Let's take on c8. Rook takes, bishop d3. All right, we're gonna take the pawn. We get back the pawn. Actually, this a7 pawn it's a passed pawn, and that's the pawn that you worry about this entire opening. So I don't know why he's allowing this. Like why he's allowing me to take on e7. If you look over this position over here, this is a passed pawn. It's an extra pawn. You do not give it like that. You know, knight d6 is not the end of the road here. You could still play knight d6, but black has. Black still have some play, right? He still have the pawn. So he played Seer, but that's okay. We just got out of the way. I mean, if he takes, that's okay. But we get back the pawn. So I'm not losing a pawn per se. He could still gain some momentum here, like queen e5. Attack the bishop. Hey, how's it going? Crossroads. Queen e5, queen b6. Yeah. The real question is what to do. Like, where to move my bishop. I was considering here, but keeping an eye on here. But this actually stops my pawn. c2 could really become weakness. This is the reason why I was considering this. I may probably have to do this. I'm not a fan of it, but I may have to like play it like that. Knight c6, rook d8, rook c8. I may have to castle like very fast. I mean, b7 is also a concern, so maybe white could still I could castle and go after this pawn, like queen b1. It would require some precision to defend this pawn as well. So maybe it's okay for white. So even after here, I could still castle queen b1. He could always defend it, but it could be a pawn that he could always attack. So this one is equivalent to this one, c2 versus b7. It's funny because you typically play d4 in the wing gambit. I'm not getting d4 here. I don't know. It just feels like d4 is not playable here, especially after I play bishop d3. So knight c6 here. He may go for knight b4, which is okay. He could do it. But then b7 is kind of Knight g6. Okay, so he wants to attack on e5. Knight f4. He's giving me opportunity to take. That move is a little bit strange to me, though. I actually felt like maybe it's knight b4. There's an argument to be made that knight b4 and take, b7 becomes a pass pawn, so it's not so much weakness anymore. So here I had to really consider bishop e2. Maybe this is the reason why he didn't do it, because c3, d4, but then c3 could become a weakness after something like rook c8. His choice of move is a little bit off. He's just attacking e5, but I have an opportunity just to take. And I'm assuming that the real question is how he takes back. Typically, I want to take this way toward the center. I could tell you that he may consider doing this. So he wants to like open up for the rook file here. But then e6 becomes a concern. So right now, he's just attacking e5. So if I play rook e1, it just feels like it's passive because I could play. He may play knight f4, and we are back to the same issues, just like knight b4. So he wants to take here, claiming b7 is a pass pawn. So my choice is just take. And the real question is how he's going to take back. I would not be surprised if he went for this. I mean, technically, it's h take. You want to play it solid, so h takes is more precise. And then maybe he wants to put his queen back to c7, so maybe putting some pressure on e5 as much as possible. So if I play d4, then we have a weakness on c2. So that's a dynamic situation. So something like here, let's say, just to give you guys a bunch of moves, is takes. He took this way. Not surprised. He wants to open up for the rook. It's a gamble of a move because e6 becomes an issue. I mean, I cannot take it right now. I mean, knight g5 is not a move, right? I mean, he could just takes here. But it could be in the long term, meaning that this could be an issue. If my let's say if I have a queen on d6, then it attacks e6 right away. He may actually consider this kind of stuff. I'm not really sure if he's going for this kind of stuff. I have to make a decision now. d4 will weaken up c3 big time. He's not really attacking e5 right now. So if I play queen b1, putting some pressure here, is it rook b8? Queen b2? Maybe I want to swing my rook on e1 and find my way to knight g5, something like that. But d2 is concerning. So queen b1, putting some... So queen b1 is like a tempo kind of move because it attacks b7. And this is a pawn that he has to defend. Because assuming the queen goes here, I'm getting closer to e6, right? So I'm assuming queen b1. Maybe it's queen c7 more precise. Because he could just put some additional... It defends and attack on e5. But then I could consider play queen b2 and then something like rook b1, so putting enough pressure on b7. So this feels like a good plan. So I think this move is accurate. Queen c7. You want to make a move and attack, like if you defend and attack same times is a better move as opposed to like, let's say queen e7. So queen e7 is like, he's just defending b7. Is the queen belongs to e7? I'm not so sure. But queen c7, it's, you're eyeing knight takes c5. Yeah, and that's how you play the game. This is much stronger move. I'm actually concerned that rook takes is actually up his sleeve. Like, this is what he wants to do. I mean, this is actually an advanced move. He could sack because it could weaken up my king, and that's maybe his counterplay. I mean, I'm counting on queen b2, but I wouldn't be completely shocked if he took. So queen b2, rook takes f3, knight takes e5. It's probably a playable idea. We're going to go for it. I mean, assuming he's going to take, though. I'm going to pre-move it. He might do it. So takes, and this is really interesting because now my king is a little bit weak. And then he may tell himself, well, if I don't do it, I'm going to be like passively defending b7, e6 maybe could be a problem later. So maybe he wants to take the initiative and, just take on f3. The real question for white is could I hold? Like, could I claim that I could take on f3? I'm up in exchange. Could I defend the king? And claim that I have up material and I could win. It should be good for white. Maybe it's probably playable on both sides, but it's fun to take on f3. I mean, if I'm black, this is going to be a move I could consider. I mean, I've been considering it for a while. He didn't do it, which is surprisingly... So maybe he wants to play g5, g4. It's a bit too slow, considering that I have rook here. And he may still take, though. He may still have it. So rook b1 is attack on b7. Alright, let's do it. Still gonna pre-move it. So g5 is met by queen takes. So takes, g4... Rook c7, takes, e6 is still a concern. Oh, he could take on e5. Okay. Oh, he could take on e5. That's the reason why he played rook f5. This is actually... I don't know if takes. There's also knight d4. Rook h5, keeping an eye on h2. Hey, how's it going? Nice seeing you. I mean, knight d4 here, knight f3, there's maybe knight f3 by himself here, queen takes h2. Alright, we're gonna think. This is probably not the right decision. I had knight d4. We're gonna take a look at it at the, after the game. Maybe it's knight d4. I mean, I'm taking b7, but this is actually like boring now because this is like a rook ending. Queen and rook ending. He probably could take. Rook takes is possible. Oh, he could take with the rook. I cannot take here. It is mate on e1. Yeah, it looks like I misplayed it. Misplayed it. Back rank. f4. Rook e2. That's... Queen b5, it's like a one-move threat. d4, rook h5. Alright. Rook e2. Yeah, it's tough to find a move, to be honest. Alright, we're gonna play g3. I missed rook e1 completely. He's up a pawn, but maybe this is still draw though. After rook e2, I may... I don't know. Even here, there's some tricks. Rook e2, queen takes, is maybe rook e1. You take, the queen is gone, right? Rook e2, yeah. Rook e2. Oh, wait, hold on a second. This queen b5. Wait, queen b5. This mate on e8. How he defend this? Because the rook is attacked. Yeah, maybe he missed it. We both are missing some stuff here. So queen b5, queen c6, queen takes e2. Tactics. So even game like this, end the game, tactics does exist. So I mean, he probably forgot that I could still attack. I mean, rook takes d2 is met by queen e8. Yeah, I mean, maybe this is tricky after all. g3, maybe he had to be precise. Now, it's funny that I go back here. g3, He may have to play like here, but then I take on b7, so maybe it's still a draw though. I mean, maybe it's still a draw. Maybe it could have been a draw after all. But here, it's obviously a blunder. I mean, queen here, just take on e2. I mean, there's no way you could defend both threats at the same time. I actually have a friend that he's weak on back ranks. This is what I consider like back rank tactic. Like he's very weak in back ranks. Like he would not see queen e8. Like rook takes rook e2. It's like a move that he would always play. Yeah. And the only way to deal with this kind of like tactics is to do like certain seams that has to deal with like back rank issues like this. So back rank is like could be anything. It doesn't have to be necessarily like it could be during the ending game like this. Yeah, so this is losing, of course. Queen b5. It's fatal mistake. You cannot defend e8. Now it's actually draw. The computer is giving this as a dead draw, which is funny though. I was debating it's actually draw. I think it's rook f5 maybe. Yeah, it is rook f5. And then let's say you take here. This is actually draw. Queen takes c2. Even though I'm down a pawn, but this is easy draw. Because now there's some issues on the back rank. He cannot take on e8 here. I mean, he can, but it's like, you know, this is like easy draw, supposedly. So even if he's up a pawn, this is actually like, you could trade queens and it's still a draw. Like here, this is actually a common draw, even after rook d8. So this one, because he has double pawns and the extra pawn is not going to promote. The real question is, did I had knight d4? It is knight d4. Yeah, I had to play knight d4. So knight d4 is a tricky move because it attacks the rook and keeping an eye on e6. And I was looking at rook h5, like this is losing, right? Yeah, I think it's queen takes b7. So the rook is misplaced here, and then his weakness is back rank still an issue. Rook f7 is defending b7. But then knight takes e6. Now the white position is getting better. You do have to be careful because e5 could be hanging. So queen d6 and then some kind of knight g5. So white is getting a little bit of activity here. This may still be draw, but white has some play. You know, like white is probably controlling the game. But yeah, the sack is interesting. Yes, we're gonna give it to the computer because I feel like it is interesting. It's around here, right? Oh, it still likes it. It still likes it for white. So takes, knight takes e5, king g2. I mean, that's my plan. Would have been my plan. g5, rook e1, and white's still dominant here. So the king is not that weak, and the rook is still gonna get in a better situation, like, you know, against the king. So it's not enough. I guess if he has multiple pawns, it would have been like an interesting move. I just want to see, like, even after rook f5, like, is it still playable here? I don't think it matters. Yeah, it's still the same. Yeah, this is actually a better version for me because the rook is on b7 right now. Like, the rook behind the queen, I mean, so b7 could be a problem. So let's say you take, it's king g2, you're already attacking on b7. So g5 is met by queen takes. There's actually a faster version, this +3 for a reason here. The problem is back rank all over the place. He may have to trade the queen. You cannot, like, hang on. Cool, I thought it's not completely... Yeah, it's maybe, like, from human perspective, like, you know, human perspective, I could play this and complicate the game. It may be unsound with the computers. I mean, there's also g5. I wonder if g5 here, like, instead of rook e1... So takes g5 now. Rook e1 anyway. They still transpose this other line, king g2. Yeah, I suppose white is still better here. Like, I mean, knight g6, knight f4, but it's not enough. Yeah, getting hit by, like this. Back rank still issue. So white has this tremendous pressure going on, and black. But if he had a couple pawns, let's say he has like 2 pawns or 3 pawns, and it is playable. But here, apparently, the rook is so active on the back rank that allows white to win. Good game, though. Good game. I'm gonna continue. Continue with more games. More games. Yeah, it's fun game though. It's like fun. 8 years. Okay. E4. So again, this is what happened the previous game. C5. We still play B4. You do have to play centralized chess. You know, you cannot really play like off the beat. I had one opponent. He did like something crazy like B6. I don't know, like why B6? But here we are back to the same stuff. So it's funny that knight c6. Typically I could take on c3 d4. This is quick enough. And then bishop d3. But then he still have a7. Like my previous opponent was a game before, he gave me this a7. Alright, bishop takes c3, we attack. It's funny where he's going, bishop e7. So the reason I say it's funny where he's going, maybe it's actually bishop e7, bishop e5. The reason I say that, he's blocking his knight. I mean, is he gonna go knight h6? Maybe that's what he wants to do, but it doesn't feel like it's the right way. I mean, knight h6, bishop takes, so f6. Yeah, he wants me to take so I could help him out. You never help your opponent. You just keep him, you know, since I see that g8 is not easily moving, you just keep it there for the next 20 years, right? If I'm able to keep it that way. So you just take is just helping him out. Knight takes, and it's not a big achievement. Even though knight takes bishop d3, it may make my attack a little bit more precise, but I may consider here bishop f4. Bishop d3, maybe pawn takes here, and this pawn is annoying on e5 because it controls some key squares, and the knight is not moving fast enough. That's the reason why bishop e7 is not proper enough. I think it's like maybe bishop e5, and then if I play d4, knight e7, something like that. So he could easily castle, and maybe he was worried about bishop e5, but the queen is still defending the bishop on e5. So bishop d3 is interesting here. Maybe it's queen c7, bishop f4. All right, we're gonna give it a try. Bishop d3. I suppose he could try this. If he took with the knight, we are back to knight f6. So you do have to consider pawn takes. I mean, if knight takes, you may as well play bishop d3, the previous move. So the idea is pawn takes, and the idea is very simple. I'm disallowing this. So now the bishop e7 is like stuck. What to do? Like, you probably understand by now, like, I shouldn't be playing bishop e7. Like, where the hell is my knight is going? So this move is okay. I think it makes sense. Knight takes e5 is actually the idea, and then eventually get the knight f6 sometime the next century. But again, I may have here. It's funny that knight h6 could be played. Then I take, and he may have the nicest pawns in the world. I mean, c3 is weakened. He's still up a pawn, so maybe he could still risk it and play this. Bishop f4, there's knight a3. You need to defend this pawn. There's also queen e2. There's bishop b5. But bishop b5, I'm getting away from this diagonal. So maybe bishop e5, bishop d7, and then he's still threatening to take on e5. It's just going to help him out more. Queen e2 is more attractive as well because it just keeps an eye on e5. And then instead of playing bishop f4, I was just keeping, bishop takes h6 as a one-timer, just take on h6. So queen e2 makes sense. We're just going to give it a try. Defending e5, of course. It's funny what he does here is maybe bishop d7. This move is also like he could do it. Bishop b7. He's gonna castle somewhere on the queen side. That's my money is on castling long. I'm still not fully developed though, which actually maybe the drawback here. Maybe I could consider knight a3. The real issue is I wonder if c3 could be an issue in this lines. Here I could take on time. I don't think this sack works. If knight e3, I was looking at some kind of sack. Knight takes, queen takes c3 because the rook is on e1, could be hanging. Apparently here it says queen takes, defending c3, so this is actually okay. All right, knight a3. We might be heading this way. Knight b5, knight d4 is also a plan. He still may do this, but then knight b5 may look scary though. The problem is castling knight b5, I attack the queen, a7 is also a big issue. Like, maybe he could consider e6, but again, a6 is knight b5. He cannot take back, the rook takes on e8. He did a6, but knight b5 is still a move. He may just go back, attack the knight. Is it queen c8 though? That makes sense. Queen c8 is actually interesting. Yeah, because if I play knight b5, queen c8, my knight will be under attack in this line because the queen is defending e8. And if I do knight d4, which I wanted to do, is knight takes, pawn takes, queen c3 check. The rook will be hanging a1. May have to castle, which I'm not happy about, because now he could castle. But then there may be some fire here. I mean, this move I want to play, he played knight h6, so maybe this knight b5 is real stuff. I mean, bishop takes is, we are back to the same stuff here. Alright, knight b5. Queen c8 now. I'm not sure if he wants to castle here, or where exactly is he going. I mean, we would know, but... Queen c8 is much better move than instead of d8. It feels like queen d8 is not threatening enough. Queen c8 is keeping an eye on c3. So this feels a little bit passive to me. He still did it though, which... I mean, knight d6 is a move. I suppose takes a knight f7. There's also knight d4. I'm still down a pawn, by the way, so I have to still be... I mean, maybe I could take here knight d6. Takes. This position is wicked funny. Alright, we're gonna take. See what happens. So he may have the, like, really sad pawns. He's also could consider this, but obviously if he takes this way, I get back the pawn. This bishop takes g7. This is actually terrible. So this bishop takes g7. So he do have to take here, yeah. Yeah, so the real question is here or here? It's probably knight d6. Takes. So we get rid of the bishop pair. And then e6 will be weak. His king is on the center of the board. That's the concern that That's a concern for him. Maybe queen f6? Yeah, it has to be queen f6. So he could still somehow castle, like, queenside. It's always castling queenside. Still down a pawn though, but maybe white has enough compensation. Queen f6, c3 is also under attack for now. So there's maybe knight d4 takes, queen h5, king d8. Am I running out of, like, steam here? Bishop is gonna be under attack. And there's also rook here, or rook b1. Maybe it's rook b1. Keep an eye on here. So he cannot really castle now because of bishop takes. The king will be in a bad shape. Keeping this rook on b1 so I could move the other rook here. That's actually the idea. I could have played the other rook here, but that would trap the rook on e1 for no reason. So keeping my choices open here. He plays b5. Okay, this is actually getting wild. So I mean, I don't know if he's gonna castle here. He's gonna castle short. That's actually his idea now. His idea is castling short. Yeah, but he's still okay though. I think he's still okay. Alright, this is like keeping with attention. I mean, this is my way of trying to gain queen h5. I don't know. He may play king d8 after taking. There's also queen h5 after knight takes. Oh, here. Yes, so I may have to take. Yeah, I'm taking, just because I see his king on e8. I mean, maybe he could take and castle. This is another option. Maybe he could do this. This position is wild, though. I mean, I'm assuming he's gonna take and castle. Because now he's officially gonna be up a pawn, and it's like a mess now. Because b5 and a6 would be like pass pawns. The real thing for me is maybe I could continue attacking. The attack would still be still playable. d6 might be still weakness. It's fun game though. I do think he has to take. I mean, castling right away. You could argue that he could castle now. The problem with this one, maybe I have some rook b3, even take on c6. No, maybe if he castles, takes rook b4. The rook will be, some kind of. He did castle. That's a big move. d6 is going to be weak. d6 is going to be weak. I mean, c3 is also weak. Alright, we're gonna take. He takes here this queen check. Is he just gonna play rook d8? That's it? This rook d8? Wow. Rook d8, and I may have nothing here. Queen e3 takes on d6. I'm just gonna drop like 2 pawns. It's fun though, it's fun position, regardless. e5, yeah. e5 is also playable, yeah. Yeah, I'm actually running out of time. Running out of time here. There's also e4. Wow. Down 2 pawns. I cannot get better than this. Queen takes e6. What do I have here? I have nothing. E4. Position is insane. E4 the only move, I think. Takes here is garbage. Oh wow, this d4? This d4. Now talk about huge. This d4 missed. That's huge. Yeah, that might get mated. Yeah, rook g5. No! No, rook g5. Insane position. Why he's waiting for rook g5? He's looking for mate. He wants to mate. It doesn't matter. All right. Let's check with the computer because I feel like, yeah, I missed d4. Yeah, f4 is garbage, but I'm actually, wow, this is actually holdable? Really? f3? I cannot believe this. I actually feel like I'm lost. f3 is actually holdable? He's just take here and queen e7. Whoa. He's looking at this mate. Queen d7. Queen takes e6. Some kind of like equal position. This is hard to believe. So let's play f3. And then, so let's see. Here's terrible for me. Yeah, rook b4 is not the move. Here is equal, so takes, and f4. Yeah, this feels like stopping e5. And the bishop d7. If you play, let's say here, just maybe a rook e1. So this is actually holdable. c4. Yeah. Castles, rook b1. Yeah, it wants me to play back here. It does make sense in a way, like, it does make sense in a way. And if you castle here, then queen e3. So the queen doesn't get active. So the point of queen e3 and knight d4 is the queen on d8 is like inactive as opposed to the other line. So the queen gets to f6. The queen was active enough. So when you play knight d6, it's not. He could take and then he goes for the queen activity. In this line, queen e3, rook f7, for example, white is actually, yeah, it's maybe even slightly better. Then you take and bring the other knight on d4, something like this. So knight d4 and some kind of f4. Yeah, this has to be good for white. And the problem here for black, even though he has a6 outside or pass pawn, he still have a pawn. The problem may be some kind of attack. h6 is extremely weak. With maybe h7 could be a problem. King safety is a concern. Like this is a line. King h1, queen e7, g4. And you know, computer may be slightly liking white because the potential of the king and like some kind of f5 maybe. Rook g1. Ooh. No. Rook f3. King h8. Rook g1. Bring the other rook at g1. e5 and then f5. And this is a mess, I could tell you. Two bishops, outsider pass pawn, and white is still okay here. I mean, because of the potential attack. If you get to play f6, game is on. So this is the reason why you take. White pawn takes is not the greatest. I suppose it's pawn takes. So queen takes. Maybe there's e6. Yeah, you want to be careful. E6 is a move. Check. That's actually the issue. Queen g5, and I cannot believe this game. Some kind of f6, and I don't think white is winning here anything. It just feels like it's completely complicated. Like it's one of those games where it's +1 after rook g8. It's still complicated, I think. I would be concerned that a7 would start moving. a5, I mean, start moving. Rook f2, queen h4. I'm just watching some moves here to see how this is winning for white. Rook g3, a4, king g2, and h5. So that's how you play the game. It's wicked complicated. It's not easy. But I have to, all I have to do is like play knight d4. Knight d6 is not the best move, even though it's still a playable idea. But it's just the queen gets active on f6. I suppose maybe I had to play like something like this, maybe castles and then c4. This is the only way to play for activity. But I felt like here is maybe black is fine. Apparently white still have a little bit of something, but still feels like it's equal to me. Very amazing game though, yeah. We lost, but it was entertaining. Nino. Alright, a6, b5. We could take e6. I think here there's maybe a common trap here and queen b3. E6 and then bishop b7. You sure about this move? Bishop c5. Takes. King f1, huh? Alright, we're gonna take. So his queen doesn't go to g4, knight c6, e3. Wait, where I'm going? I'm going to c5? Well, I mean, where exactly am I going? Here is b4 and bishop b2, so I have to be careful. Bishop b2. Is this actually a good idea for him? It should be. We should never give a tempo like this, like b4, bishop b2. f4 maybe is a move. He plays knight f3, which maybe it's not the best, but castles. d7 is weak though, it's worth noting. But the king is on f1. He wants to play rook d1. Rook d1, sir. Alright, rook b8. We're keeping an eye on here. Rook b5 may be the main move. It's just keeping the queen out of d5 as much as possible. So he could do b4, but... this is very tempting move, but b4. So it has to be here. So rook b5 attack the queen. Maybe I could play queen c8. So d7 is weak, but it's not entirely clear because the king is sitting on f1, not castled. I probably need to get my queen out of d8 so I could have more control with the queen, maybe even here. So any knight g5, maybe I could even take. You cannot play knight g5. Takes, e5 is hanging. We could sink this rook for at b5, doing the job here. Ooh, g3. I don't know if I'm a fan of this move. I know what he's trying to do. He wants to claim that his king is safe, king g2, and maybe it's a move. I may have d5, takes, check, king here, takes. Actually, c6 is hanging, so maybe it's not playable. f6? We want to open up. So maybe you could still do this, but I could take. And then d7 is no longer a concern here. It's, as a matter of fact, it could be a really strong asset pawn, because this could be a pass pawn, so I could take. This is actually turning into my favor. Yeah, this has to be good for black somehow. There's also like massive take, but there's check in between. So I could take, bishop takes. This is d5 even here. I mean, I was looking at bishop f6, but this feels like it's not check, and then here he protects. I mean, even if I'm able to get bishop takes here, it's not the end of the world for him. So d5, queen e3. d5 doesn't make sense here. Bishop f6 takes, rook takes. Maybe this is the activity I'm looking for. f4. All right. There's f4 coming in, regardless. So f4 is coming in. So here, if you play f4, I could take. So I'm assuming he's gonna take, and then f4. But then the rook gets to play rook e6. So maybe this is good. Just check and c7. All right, let him do it. This is maybe all about activity, but you could see that d7 now, it's like a pass pawn. It's no longer a weakness. I mean, a couple moves ago, it was weak. Like here, I think d7 is weak. Or even if we go here, it's something like rook d1 would have been like an issue, putting some pressure on d7. So he's taking fast enough. Okay, that's good for me. He wants to trade, which makes a lot of sense, but rook e6. Queen c4. There's also queen f8, f4, rook e6, queen c4. Alright, we could play here. Keeping this. Queen e8 is not the move. Rook takes f2. Check. And maybe he could hold this. Maybe he's okay. Here, queen c4, d5. He's gonna play this so he could pin it, assuming that this is winning, but d5. You could play here as well, but it feels like passive. I mean, I could play queen e8. Or rook e5 even. So the best move maybe is here, pinning d5. Queen e2. Wait, queen c1 I mean. So he's prepared to take back on e1. Yep. You gotta play d5. You cannot play like here, rook takes e6, and then pawns are weak in this line. So he cannot take the rook takes here, his queen is hanging. Actually, he could do queen takes. Wow, I mean, he does have queen takes. Takes, rook takes. Queen check. There's no check, this blocks. Check first. So we wanted to go back rank. So d5, this is gonna be met by rook takes check. So checking first. f3 is the move. Alright, so d5. So he cannot, I mean, he cannot play queen takes. It was a line that he could do it, but there's a check here, of course. So he won here. He's meeting rook takes. He wants to take on. He wants to take on e1. Okay, how to play this? There's a rook b6. This is still happening. Takes, takes. Takes, queen takes. The rook is gonna come in a heartbeat. And then threatening rook e8. I'm trying to do this. Get the rook behind the pass pawn. I said d5 was weak, but now it's like d5 is a pass pawn. Is it enough for a win? It's probably not sure. Especially with 3 minutes. He checks, I go here, rook e2. Rook d2 is met by rook d8. Defending d5. You could try this, c6 maybe. I may have to play like h6 at some point if king doesn't feel like it's there's a back rank issue. He also has some back rank issue himself in some lines. I mean, maybe even d4 could be a problematic after rook e8, some kind of tactics. So maybe d4 is a move. My concern about this position is he makes us defend. Like, it may be a draw somehow. But maybe queen d5, c5, some kind of you know, dynamic attack. He's allowing rook e8, queen c6. Okay, that's maybe his plan. Rook d6 is a move. He wants to take on... Could I play d4 here? Rook e8? This is tactics. Did he miss this move? Queen c6. I'm gonna do it anyway. Complicate it. He might do queen c6. If here... I actually may have missed... Yeah, I missed the move, rook e7. But the pawn is moving. Maybe this is still playable though. d3, d2, rook e8. This is still back rank issue because now the queen is lining up this way. He's meaning rook e8 was rook e7. That's his defense. But maybe it's d3 that he may have here. But then rook e8. Rook e7. Still not clear to me. Rook here, d2. Yeah, so rook here, d2, d1 is coming. If he goes back here, it's a big concern because maybe it's rook e8, d2, and then we may have rook e1, which actually may still win. I guess in order for him to defend properly, he just simply had to do like, you know, the queen goes back, guarding this pawn from moving. Maybe that was a better idea. So now he wants to stopping this. I'm not entirely sure. There's actually mate. Maybe this is the way to defend. Queen g. This is maybe the way to defend. Oh wow, this is actually... Wow, if I have to play like rook g8, that's bad news. Rook here, that's not good. Queen c8. What a game, though. What a game. I'm down a pawn here as well. The problem I'm having is the rook is not active at all. Rook g8. Rook is not active at all here, and yes, this move is good enough. Check. Takes here. Tricky. Here is queen e4. It's actually not easy. Here, queen e4. He has to be careful here. Because my rook could get active again. That's actually, like, it might be even rook b8. Okay, he took the pawn, and I think it's gambling. He probably had to leave. But it's an outsider pass pawn. Maybe he felt like he's obligated to take. The problem is here, it's your rook is hanging. So if he goes back, which, okay, at least I may have a draw. But the real question is, do I have this? Rook b1. I wonder if my back rank is an issue. I may have here. Oh, yes, rook d1. Queen f1, yeah. Alright, this is actually a book draw, I think, but he's gonna play it on. It should be draw. You probably need the pawn out, like somewhere on the other side of the board. For 3 for 2 here, it's difficult to win. I mean, you can still win, but it should be draw. Yeah, he's trying to win and taking some time. I mean, all right. Stopping this. This should be easy draw now, I think. So if he could try king e4, but then we stop him. So the minute he goes here. So I'm stopping f5, which is key. I could have played rook f5. Rook d5. Still, he cannot come in easily. You cannot come in easily. For a draw, and he's not gonna take it. Alright, he declines. Okay. Play on. But be careful. You decline it. I don't have to accept later. And what is this move? So he declined it and then play rook d4? What's the point of rook d4? Oh, I actually slipped. I may have to take... I might actually lost, yeah. 10 seconds left, wait. He misplayed it. I misplayed it again. Wait, he could king here. Still losing, yeah. Alright. It's a tough game though. Alright, one last game though, one last game. We have to win though, because this is... we just lost a couple games. G6. Bishop g7. d5 we could take, f6, f4. This is modern defense. Knight h6. Queen d2 is met by knight g4. Takes. Pawn takes this way. Knight f5. And then here next. Takes. Castles. Takes. I'm actually threatening here. He misplayed it. This is met by knight takes f3. There's a lot of options here, including knight e6. Takes. I mean, he's gonna play queen e3. Maybe it's d4. Yeah, maybe this is actually check. I mean, it is potential to take on here. It's another pawn. Yeah, d4 is bishop c4. I mean, I would like to play here, but there's no bishop h6. I'm like, don't have a piece to support bishop h6 or anything, so I may have to maybe knight h4. There's knight g2. Maybe he would see it. Knight g2 is a move. So if he plays here, knight f5. I mean, I'm just up 2 pawns here. He missed it. He missed it. Knight g2 just takes. This is actually terrible. Takes bishop h6 now. Bishop takes e5. He doesn't have time for bishop takes, knight takes. So it's here. Queen d6. I mean, I'm surprised by what I'm seeing. Bishop takes. Bishop takes g6 is not gonna help him out. Takes, takes. It's a trade. We are up. We are winning. We won. All right, we're gonna stop here. The reason this opening could be tricky, though. Yeah, I know. I would like to play, but I have to get going. Actually, he wants a rematch. Okay, one more. Last one. Rematch. All right, knight c3. f4. This is Vienna. Vienna gambit takes, which I'm not sure why it's called a gambit. Takes, takes. Bishop c4. He could take, takes on queen h4. This is the reason why people doesn't play the Vienna anymore, because of queen h4. It just feels like this line is solid enough for black. Bishop e3. Bishop d7. He's trying to take, so we could take here. I don't remember, is it knight e2 or castles? I mean, if knight e2, he could castle himself, so maybe we have to castle. So knight e2, knight d4. This line is okay, but it's just black is comfortable. Knight d4 is a move. I remember playing this like OTB Blitz, and my opponent actually like he castled. I saved my opponent castle. I played knight d4, and then played bishop d5, and I won a piece because of knight f5. Both d5 and e7 was hanging. But you know, I mean, my opponent should be knowing this. So bishop d7. He wants to play bishop g4, of course. Looking at this diagonal, good idea. h3, stopping bishop g4. He has to be careful not to castle because rook takes d7. c5, I'm not a fan. Knight f4, knight d5. So c4, knight c3, knight d5. The real question is which move is more interesting, c3? c4, I mean c4, and knight c3. Just keep an eye on this one. So knight c3 here, or knight takes on e4. He plays here, he castles long. Have to be careful when I take because bishop c6, so I may have to prepare it. Not sure how. He has to be careful that e4 could be a target, just like e5 could be a target. So knight d5, rook e8, takes, takes, bishop takes c5, which is actually boring. It's actually here, here. We could give it a try. My concern is rook takes. Okay, we may take first. Rook takes. Keep an eye on this knight takes c4 thing. So maybe the next move is bishop f4. This rook d4, so maybe this is not easy. Okay, f5. Did not see that coming. All right, we're gonna take bishop takes. Oh, bishop takes is bishop takes c5. He may go for this ending, which is very boring. This is gonna be like opposite color kind of stuff. We're gonna go for it. He's gonna take on c3. Opposite color bishops. Insanely boring. But he may, you know, I'm up a pawn, but it's maybe hard to win. By the way, the reason he played b6 because bishop takes c7 was the target. So if anything, white may be okay. I mean, you know, more than okay, but it's possibly still a draw. Obviously, call bishops gives the defender some chances to draw. So here, maybe it's a key move. Attack g6, maybe rook f1, if anything, is stopping his rook f8. White could get active, but is it enough for a win? That's actually the question. He could even do e3 and bishop g2, and we'll see. He's probably going to play here. He did not, which is shocking to me. So king here, and maybe getting our king to e3. I mean, I'm trying to win, but I don't think it's a win. I mean, white could play on. It's one of those games. I have like a triple pawns, which are kind of lovely. Are lovely to and that's one way. King e3 is bishop takes c2. You're not really doing much. Here, king c7. He's not going to play rook d8, of course. c5 is not playable. He just takes, and then I lose. h4. I could tell like this is not a position that you could win by white. I mean, king e3 is here, and this is not the way. This is not the road to win. Maybe rook f4. But just rook e7, but maybe this is where I could play c5. I actually misplayed it here. I could play rook f4 right now. The reason I say that is because maybe the king could get active like king c6, which made this allow c5. This is actually this big move. He plays here. Interesting. He's allowing c5, which is a big move. I mean, the bishop is stopping e3. I'm not sure exactly what is he's trying to do. We could play c5, and then the idea is we want to get rid of like one of the double pawns. So we could do it like double instead of triple pawns. So that's achievement, but it's not enough for a win, I don't think. We could try. I mean, if the king goes all the way to h6 in a situation, so he's actually wants to trade, and it's actually a big move. He resigned. Why did he resign? He said it's a slip. Let me see. I felt like the bishop is covering it. Where's rook f7? Yeah, it's rook f7. You don't take on e8. So it's funny that you don't take. This is actually a draw somehow. So it's rook f7. The idea of rook f7. Let's say he plays any move, king a6. He just take on b6, and h7 is hanging. So this may be a winnable. Yes, this is winnable because now you have two pawns, and you may create like a pass pawn, g4, h5, and maybe g6 is also weak. So even a move like this is not, you're getting hit by this one, e3, it's a computer line, takes. So this is actually winning to me. It's a slip, but I think here, to be fair to my opponent, I think he had to take here. I don't think rook e7 was a move. I think maybe like e3. I keep saying e3 was a move also, so e3 is possible even here. The idea is if, let's say, I don't know why king d1 is a move. Oh, so if you play here, it's bishop takes c2, right? And if you play here, bishop takes c2. So that's one line, bishop takes c2, and you cannot really win this one. So the bishop now gets activated in a better square, right? Instead of being on e4. Rook e7 is c5, and I actually felt like king c6, by the way. Like, it's also a move. King c6 was also a move here. I think rook e8, but again, rook f7. Rook takes e4. This is still not winning. You could actually draw that. But maybe, just to be more practical is e3. Now, the problem with rook e7 and c5, you do, I was looking at some other moves like stakes, check, bishop d4. And I still believe this is a draw. Like even this situation here is still e3. And the point is this is actually like an extremely easy draw because king takes and bishop takes c2. I don't have any pawn advantage or anything. The bishop gets extremely active, like, and there's no like winning idea. The pawn at c3 is not going anywhere, so it's like a pass pawn, but it doesn't really do much. I think even without rook e8, I mean, you know, rook e8 is a slip, but obviously he should have just took on here in e3. So those positions are hard to win. I just want to look at one thing here, just checking with the computer. Yeah, there was knight d5. Knight d5 was probably the most strongest move. Because I feel like knight d5 is pretty strong. It just gains the tempo against the bishop. I felt like maybe this move is playable, but it turns out to be that it's not. It's check, and then I think it's something to do with rook takes d8. Yeah, so here, bishop g5. This is actually the reason it's lost. This is actually the problem. So I saw rook e8, but I didn't go deep enough. So if that's an issue, if he has to move bishop f8, that's terrible, right? Then he could play rook h. Yeah, that's actually the main idea is to play here. Now I have a strong knight on d5. So people always claim two bishops are pretty strong, but not in a game like this. The bishop now goes to f8, is being blocked by its own pawn at c5. You know, and you know, bishop f8 is terrible. Bishop c6 is active, but you know, the knight is just as active on d5. Dispositions are hard to play. I mean, usually leaning toward white. I don't think what he did is best, to be honest. c5 was not really necessary. I feel like maybe even castling along here, it's okay. This position here this is where things are really, you know, active. It's active position both sides. Like, believe it or not, black could even claim that he's slightly better because of the two bishops, right? But so you can see here the two bishops are really strong. Like, as opposed to, like, you could see there's more diagonals. Once he plays c5, there's one drawback. The bishop's being cut off by its own pawn. You know, it's not, you know, it's a move that you probably need to avoid playing. I was also considering knight f4 and still knight d5. So that then let's say b6 is knight d5. I would consider this knight is really like harassment of a knight. Like, it's like a, you know, the knight goes, it wants to play here. So if you have to play like this, it just, you know, it gives you indication that black position is not really great. But here you could play anything, even like bishop e6 even. You could waste the move and still, so even after knight f4, it's not the end of the world here. You could still claim that this is actually, you know, active position. Knight takes e6 is actually, you know, bishop takes e3 first. This line is interesting. I actually feel like the reason people doesn't play the Vienna because this line is active for black, where black could easily equalize fast enough. This line is actually the reason. If people play different lines, let's say they play, you know, like something like here and d4, maybe this is where white could get, you know, like d4 is not the best. This line, bishop e6 here, I mean, maybe white could claim a little bit of something after queen g3. But people doesn't play this kind of stuff. People would play the other line, knight c6, and transpose to like exactly what he did. This one is a lot safer. And people that they play against the Vienna, they usually play this as the highest level because this feels like it's solid enough for black. And that's the reason why people with white, they don't play this because they see that this is a forced line, forced sequence, and he's just forced straight of queens. Like, and this is actually in the high depths with the computer. Is you know, white typically, yeah, I mean, it could be both results, but black is okay most of the time here. As a matter of fact, he still have the active game, castling along, and you know, it's difficult to find. Maybe in blitz games it's okay, but in classical things could change. Maybe just black is fine here in this line. Very good games. We won some, we lost some, and it's part of the game. I don't like to win a lot of games when it comes to rapid because the higher I get with the rapid, the more I would not see any opponents. Like, and I end up playing a lot of 2200s, so I could, you know, so I could find a game, right? So rating goes up and down. It's actually different than blitz games, bold games. You could have a high rating, it's okay, but you know, you may not have enough, you know, opponents to play in rapid. Not a lot of people play rapid. Hey, welcome aboard. I was about to get going. We did our share was rapid explaining the moves. I try to stream every day. Um, I'm gonna be back later today though. Later today, I'm gonna be back on Twitch, which is gonna be on chess.com. So it could be Puzzle Rush, it could be Blitz games, bullet games. Not so much like explaining the moves. I try to, but not so much Rapid. Rapid is going to be only on YouTube, so keep this in mind. We're also looking for collabs. I collabed with Simply Divina the other, was it early this month and or past months. We are looking for George Clooney next. I saw Will Smith got to the Botas sisters, so why not me? I mean, give me a try. You know, give me a try, Will Smith. I'm also chess master, and my mom told me the other day, why can't you get with Will Smith? I told her, I don't know the guy. I mean, he's an actor, but how could I get to him? It's difficult. But you never know. You never know. I'm known to create some break norms, and I could still find ways to get with somebody popular. I could still get with somebody popular. Who knows? Only time would tell. But it's very difficult task. But it's not impossible. Nothing is impossible, including me being a grandmaster as well. If I want to go back and play tournaments, I could still create some damage. I could still try. The only issue with tournaments is family. When you're dealing with a sick family member, it's difficult. Members now, so it's not even one person; it's two. So it's difficult, But yes, we're looking for collabing with different people, like different streamers, even if they are not even chess streamers. We are open to that. But it's good to see some actors playing chess. Will Smith playing chess, and he was keeping up with the sisters, right? So he was not he knows the game a little bit more than a lot of people. So we'll see. Maybe we could collab with different people. Mr. Beast, where are you? Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage, where are you? We'll see. We'll see about all these people coming in. Or they may never come, but it's okay. It's okay. We are here streaming for a long time. We are in it for the long term. People could retire and I'm still going to be here. Keep this in mind. There was a long story about somebody told me the other day, are you looking forward to retire? I told him, retire? Why should I retire? I played the game for a long time and I play every day, ever since I was 7 or even younger. Why should I retire now? There's still room for improvements. But he was like, yeah, retire. I told him I'm looking for 3,000 bullet rating. So there's still some improvements to come, even titles, I wouldn't even though it's very difficult, maybe this is the most difficult task is getting titles because I do have to travel, family. Having an actor in my stream is probably easier than me traveling, I'm assuming. Yeah, yeah, I know. But we'll be back later today, and I'm doing things solo here. It's all my work. It's educational. It's entertaining. And again, collabing is one of the stuff that I'm looking forward to do in the future. Also streaming outside. It's also I did stream outside. Maybe we could do more of it now that we are in the summertime. So maybe that's an opportunity. Playing multiple people same time. All this kind of stuff could happen. So there's a lot of good ideas coming in. All right. We're going to leave here, be back later today. I'm not sure exactly when. It's going to be later, maybe I don't know, I would say 7 p.m. I don't know. New York time. It's hard to say, but I should be back later today. And it's going to be on chess.com. I tried to do both sites now, chess.com and I'm just, that was my game. And that was the game. That's how the game went. So I'm going to be back later today, and maybe we could do Puzzle Rush. We'll see. All right, folks. I will see you guys later. Take care, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. More to come. Take care, folks.